So let's watch this video by Mayor Mamdani. I assume this is recent, 1 day ago. Is this the manor? Is this the manor that he lives in now? What a fake socialist. Ah, right, everybody. No, okay. I think it's provided by the state for the mayor. But anyway, this is why is it? Okay, whatever. Um, NYC Mayor Mamdani NYPD commissioner hold news conference. So we'll see what they have to say. We're just catching in with our buddy Mamdani as he tries to implement the Woke-Sharia and in the great state of New York. The Woke-Sharia caliphate is awakening there and will one day expand across the nation as we all succumb to Woke-Sharia. Let's see what he's got to say.
Good morning. On Saturday, a protest was held outside Gracie Mansion, where I live with my wife, Rama. Neither of us were home at the time. This was a vile protest rooted in white supremacy entitled Stop the Islamic Takeover
Ah,
of New York City.
so that's what this was. Okay, I thought that was what this was, but then when I saw the timing of the video, that it was like a, oh, this was streamed 9 hours ago. Okay, never mind. That makes more sense because I thought that happened like either this morning or last night or something. But yeah, apparently there was some sort of protest outside of the mayor's house. And I think it ended up with like a fire or something.
I'm the first Muslim mayor of our city. Anti-Muslim bigotry is nothing new to me, nor is it anything new for the 1 million or so Muslim New Yorkers who know this city as our home. While I found this protest appalling, I will not waver in my belief that it should be allowed to happen. Ours is a free society where the right to peaceful protest is sacred. It does not belong only to those we agree with. It belongs to everyone. I will
Wow.
defend that right every day that I am mayor, even when those protesting say things that I abhor. Let me also be clear about something else. New York City will never tolerate violence, whether from protests or counter-protests. Many of the counter-protesters met this display of bigotry peacefully, with a vision of a city that is welcoming to all. But a few did not. Two men, Amir Balat and Ibrahim Kayumi, traveled from Pennsylvania and attempted to bring violence to New York City. They are suspected of coming here to commit an act of terrorism. There is video of these two individuals throwing two devices towards the protest. The police department has determined that these were improvised explosive devices made to injure, maim, or worse. Thanks to the swift and decisive actions of NYPD officers at the scene, both men were immediately taken into custody, and the devices they brought taken off of our streets. I want to commend the officers who were on site. They faced a chaotic situation that very quickly could have become far more dangerous. NYPD Chief Aaron Edwards and Sergeant Luis Navarro ran towards the danger so that others could run to safety.
Okay, so okay, Mamdani, you're I was a little conflicted at the beginning of this video where he was talking about, I give everybody has the right to protest and like, oh, we'll let the white supremacists come out, and do their hate mobs and like, um, and while in general, yes, everybody is allowed to protest and obviously like people can say vile things or whatever, there is an inevitable consequence to that. Like by allowing these like hate groups to then become this prominent uh and allow them to exist in polite society the way that they are, especially in this type of circumstance, um, you're really setting the stage for like these sort of like incendiary events or whatever. And it all depends on the situation, and it all depends on the thing. And I'm also not one of these like absolutists either. Like because I don't believe in like I believe it's okay to be like for something when it's for a good cause and against something when it's for a bad cause. I believe it's okay um like be for say the protesting at the synagogue that was selling illegal land in the West Bank to like Israeli like Nazi settlers who live in Brooklyn or whatever the fuck. Like I think it's okay for people to go out there and protest that and yell at those people because they're doing evil, right? Um and then I can also at the same time be like I don't like when a bunch of evil people come out and shout racist shit at the mayor's office and like try to I don't know start a like lynching group or like a lynching like club or something like like I think that I don't like how in America we always do this like everything has to be value neutral and we allow like we say it's okay if you do it one way or like for the like if we're going to allow it, if we're going to allow people to like protest genocide, then I guess you have to allow people to form a mob that's about to lynch the mayor or whatever, like so I don't know. I'm a little conflicted on this. I think that uh like I think we, to some extent, need to stamp down reactionary sentiment in a relatively robust way. And that can sometimes involve using tools of the state. And it can sometimes involve, you know, like re-educating people to like, not be so reactionary and not be so racist all the time. Um, but that's a society that like is so far from where we are in America that it might not even matter to talk about. At this point in time, but I don't know. I'm just trying to process my thoughts on this right now because this is a interesting situation.
They are here with us now, and I want to thank them today publicly as I did yesterday privately, and to thank the dozens of other officers who responded without hesitation. That is courage, that is selflessness, and I'm deeply grateful to both of them and to every member of the NYPD who works every single day to keep New Yorkers safe. As the NYPD continued their investigation yesterday, they found a third suspicious device in a vehicle on East End between 81st and 82nd Street. Out of an abundance of caution, they conducted a number of limited evacuations of nearby buildings before removing the device from the area. Once the device was removed, those evacuated were allowed to return to their homes. I am grateful for their continued work to keep New Yorkers safe. And let me say this plainly. Anyone who comes to New York City to bring violence to our streets will be held accountable in accordance with the law. As this case continues to develop, I will remain in close contact and communication with our police commissioner. I want to say thank you once again to everyone who acted on Saturday to protect their fellow New Yorkers and to uphold the values of this city. Now I would like to invite Police Commissioner Tisch to say a few words.
So that's what Tish looks like. A lot of times these people I read about, I don't ever really like see them come out and discuss things. So sometimes I'm just like, I don't know, kind of curious. But oh crap, now I forgot what I was gonna say. This is what happens when I get too invested in my hyperactive brain, just like analyzing everybody's facial features to see if I think to see what I can pick apart from them.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning, everyone. Okay. First, I will tell you that we are not at liberty to discuss many aspects of the ongoing investigation at this time due to the pending prosecution. The suspects here, Amir Balat and Ibrahim.
So if Kash Patel was up there, he would be like, it was a bunch of trans people. They were all trans, all three of them, or all three people or whatever. They were all trans for sure, 100%, no doubt in my mind.
Kayumi are going to be prosecuted in federal court here in Manhattan, and a complaint will set forth criminal charges and the factual allegations supporting those charges. After that complaint is made public, which I expect to occur later today, I will be able to say much more about the investigation and what we have learned in this case. But it is crucial.
Okay, I guess what I was going to say was that we have a media that has facilitated so much anger and so much animosity towards Zohran Mamdani for literally just having like average run-of-the-mill social democratic policies. Like that has set off like a reactionary wave that has like broken people's brains to the point that they're out here like chanting like "Go home Muslim" or whatever to this dude outside his house or whatever. Um, and like you can't always just separate the reaction to like the those two people or whatever who came in and threw some like what they're calling in like IEDs or whatever, right? Like you're going to when you allow that much hate to fester, like both the media and the civilian populace allows that much hate to fester, like you're going to eventually get a reaction from, like people who don't like that shit. Like it's like I don't know. Sometimes I feel like we can't even just acknowledge like just the inevitable reality of what reactionaries do. Like as like we have to immediately like condemn it like or whatever like the reaction to the reactionaries, the double reactionaries, I guess. Um, it's just really like frustrating. We can acknowledge like objectively that if you spend billions upon billions of dollars and hundreds of hours of time trying to smear this guy as like the devil incarnate who's going to, start rounding up all of your daughters and putting like forcefully putting them in burqas to go like whenever they go outside or whatever. Um, like that sort of hysteria will breed a level of like animosity towards him that will then inevitably have a counter reaction from other people, and it's just an inevitable consequence. So it's kind of like I don't know. I get frustrated with this in America. We can't just acknowledge like the objective realities of what happens. Like
that we respect that process and not get ahead of it. That being said, I can confirm this morning that this is being investigated as an act of ISIS-inspired terrorism. I can also provide some additional information building on my remarks.
I'll be curious if that holds up in court, dude. They do that. They try to throw the terrorism charge on everything nowadays, and I feel like it usually gets like tossed out pretty early in the case. I think you need a pretty direct like correlation, but I don't know. We'll see.
From Saturday evening. At that time, we were beginning to conduct preliminary analysis of two devices that were ignited and deployed earlier that day. One in a crosswalk on East End Avenue and East 87th Street, and the other on the west side of East End Avenue between East 86th and East 87th Streets. That testing was performed by the NYPD's bomb squad and FBI special agent bomb technicians in consultation with an FBI chemist.
Man, he is good at just standing still too. Like I feel like he hasn't even blinked. But I think that also Americans be prepared. Like the blowback that we're about to get from Iran is I like to say that like, we had ISIS before. We're about to see super mega mecha ISIS. Like it's gonna be like Godzilla when like he puts on his metal robotic exoskeleton. Like it's gonna be like we're gonna see some crazy shit in the future.
Preliminary test results determined that these were not hoax devices nor smoke bombs. They were improvised explosive devices that could have caused serious injury or death. Part of our initial investigation was to determine what energetic substance, if any, was used in the two devices. And our analysis showed that one of the devices deployed
Chemistry.
by the subjects contained the substance triacetone triperoxide, known as TATP. Now, TATP is a dangerous and highly volatile homemade explosive that has been used in IED attacks around the world. Our bomb squad then rendered safe both devices.
Hurt Locker.
And as of now, explosive evidence samples are being sent to an FBI lab for further testing. Our investigation also led our detectives to a vehicle that was tied to the suspects. And yesterday afternoon, patrol officers found that car, a black 2010 Honda with New Jersey plates on East End Avenue between East 81st Street and East 82nd Street using a robot. The NYPD's bomb squad was able to
Robot.
find another possible.
Was it one of those Musk robots, do you think? The whatever the new Tesla robot dudes are? Maybe. Who
Suspicious
knows?
device and materials inside the car consistent with the first two explosive
Optimus,
devices,
I
and
think
the
that's what it's
area
called.
was immediately frozen and cleared. A limited evacuation of certain floors and certain nearby buildings was conducted while the officers secured the vehicle and removed this third device, which was transported to Rodman's neck for further testing. This third device.
Did anyone else hear that as Rodman's neck? Like they, I don't know why that just made me think of that Saw contraption where they tied it, or that lady had to like conduct surgery, but she had like a necklace of like shotgun shells or something around her neck that would explode if she like if the other person pressed a button. I was like, did they just attach the IED to someone's neck? But obviously, I assume that's a place in New York. I'm not a New York head, so I don't know.
Tested negative for explosive material. Once the scene was secure and deemed safe, residents were allowed to return to their homes. Now, we have been in a heightened state of alert in New York City since the start of hostilities in Iran, and we remain in that posture today. We will continue to deploy additional counterterrorism resources.
They're gonna be out there. They're gonna be out there for a while in heightened mode. Maybe they're gonna have to increase the police budget. Sorry, Zoran. Sorry, no community safety officers or whatever you were gonna call them. We got a more budget in the police. Maybe that's why they're going to war with Iran. They were like, all the police departments got defunded. They got defunded under Black Lives Matter, and we need to boost the police budgets. And the only way to do that is to inspire terrorist acts across the nation. And so, for that reason, we must go to war with Iran. We must. We must.
Throughout New York City, including heavy weapons teams, K-9 units, aviation, and more. The NYPD is vigilant and determined in our unceasing efforts to ensure the safety of this city and the security of its 8.5 million residents. We also cannot lose sight of how serious this situation was. The last time that an IED...
Is that like the New York crest? 1625? Is that like a windmill on it? Oh, uh-oh. I think that's an indigenous person and probably a pilgrim. Okay, not sure if I like that too much. Sorry, New York.
People was deployed.
Unless that's the police. Actually, that's probably more likely the police crest, if I had to guess. NYP crest. The police and army and shit, they love using Native American imagery. No, maybe it is New York. Oh, wait. Maybe I'm trying to see if that looks the same. Maybe that's different. That's definitely different. What's it say on it? Okay, I'm sure nobody cares about my autistic ass
in New York City.
need to like hyper analyze every little thing in the background of this video. I'm sorry, I do this so much. I gotta stop.
2017, when Akayed Ullah detonated a device strapped to his torso in the pedestrian underpass connecting the Port Authority bus terminal and the Times Square subway station. No one other than the attacker was injured in that incident, and once again, we were fortunate that the devices used this weekend did not cause the kind of harm that they were certainly capable of causing. But luck is never a strategy. Devices like these have the potential to cause devastating harm, which is why the NYPD does thorough counterterrorism investigations and treats every incident of this kind with the highest level of urgency and care. And it is why we remain vigilant. The safety and security of the entire city ultimately rests on the judgment and the courage of the men and women of the NYPD. And on Saturday, we saw that in its truest form. When those devices were ignited in the middle of a crowded protest, officers did not step back, they stepped forward. With me today are two of
Okay.
those officers, Assistant Chief Aaron Edwards and Sergeant Luis Navarro, who ran toward a lit IED without hesitation and without regard for their own safety, acting as police officers do, on instinct and training to protect people they did not know and would likely never meet.
So, in case people are unaware, I'm not a big fan of cops, and so they take every chance they get to do as much propaganda as possible. Anytime a decent incident like this happens, where people actually act bravely and put their lives on the line or whatever, uh, like they milk it. They milk it so fucking hard. They bring them out. They make them heroes. They put them on TV. They put them on children's shows. They're doing everything they possibly can to make these cops like I don't know, show the good instances of them. But they like I don't know. That's just me. That's just me. Obviously I'm not a huge fan of cops, so.
Moments.
But I can say that yeah, okay, that's a good thing. They did one good thing. Now I'm glad you took time out of your day of brutalizing homeless people to go to save our wonderful mayor here. Thank you. But like, I don't know.
Like that remind us what policing truly requires, because behind every counterterrorism operation, every bomb squad response, every emergency call that sends officers running towards danger, there are human beings who make the decision to step forward when others are running away.
They just make so much. They make such a big deal about it, dude. Oh my God. Like, if a person goes down and like I don't know, welds something on a bridge underwater or something, like a job that is like 1,000 times more dangerous than what these fuckers do, like they don't get some press conference when they go do that. Like, I'm sorry, like it's just whatever.
Chief Edwards has been a uniform officer for nearly 23 years. He is, as of December, our newly minted borough chief in Manhattan North. Chief Edwards joined this department after witnessing the heroism of NYPD officers on September 11th. And on Saturday, we saw that same spirit carried forward in the way that he responded. Sergeant Navarro has spent the past 11 years serving the city he grew up between Puerto Rico and New York, eventually settling in Washington Heights and the Bronx, and joined
Okay,
the
I don't need to hear these cops like backstory or whatever, so I'm finding another video right now.